Everyone, in this video I'm going to show you how to make a searchlight and how to find your little creatures in the dark. So let's start. So to start with, the first thing I'm going to do is to change the background to black. After doing that, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to make the pond, and I need to make the frog and weeds, some weeds, and the searchlight. To start with, let's start with the searchlight, for which we have to give the stroke weight of 1, and then stick 1, and then we are going to give it a fill. The fill is 255, 255, and 255, and the fill alpha is 200. And then after doing that, we are going to use the ellipse, and we are making actually the searchlight first. So after doing that, we are going to make the ellipse, and ellipse is controlled by the mouse X and the mouse Y, and it's of the size of 150 by 150. And you can see the searchlight is there. Now to search something, so for that, let's make an ellipse to start with, an ellipse of the size present in 200 in the middle, and size of 50 and 50, and let's say it's of the color of 10 black. Okay, so now when I move my searchlight, you can see I can find my ellipse, which is not present anywhere else, but it's here now. Okay, we are good. Okay, now after doing that, let's remove this ellipse and let's make the frog instead. So to start with, let's start with the frog. So the frog needs to be, the frog needs to have a body, and that body needs to have some stroke as well. So stroke, and we are giving the stroke of green to it, and we are giving the stroke of green, and we are giving it the alpha of 20, so less is visible. And then we are going to give it a fill also, and that fill is 0, 163, and then 0, and then again we will give it 20, the alpha. Now the next thing for the body is the arc. We are going to make, the arc is going to be at 200 position and should be in the Y, 250, and 50 in the width and 100 in the height. It needs to be, and we need an upside down one arc, so P1, Pi means pi, and then 0, and then chord because we want it to be closed one. Okay, now let's see that, can we see? Yep, there is a green thing which we can see. We can increase the alpha a little bit, let's say 40 and 40, to see, just to see that how it will appear. So it's there, and when you put your light on, you can see more better in this way. Okay, now after doing that, now comes the legs and the feet of the frog. So legs and feet. Okay, so for the legs and the feet, we will do the same thing. So we will get the fill, and the fill is 0, 163, and 0 and 20, or let's say 40 because it's the same as the above one. And then we need the arcs to be there, so let's make an arc. So the arcs to start with is, in fact, let's not give the fill because the fill is going to take the same, and the stroke also it's going to take the same. So let's just get the arc done. So the arc is forming at 165 position, and then at 251 and 20 in size, in width, and then 52 in height, and then pi 0, and we want this to be an open one. In the same way we are going to do the other one also. So let's copy it, and then we are going to just change the x of it because that's different. 235, 251 remains the same, 20, 52 remains the same, pi 0 and open remains the same. So let's see. Now you can see the two legs are appearing on the sides of the sides. And now the next bit, which is the feet of it. So feet are also just like that we are going to make, and for the feet again we are going to use the arc, and then the arc positioning is 147 and 251 and 20, 10, and then pi 0 because we want it to be at the upside down one again, and open. Okay, so when we do that, let's copy this again and paste it here. And the other thing we have to change is this, and now we have to change the positioning of it to 253. 251 remains the same, 20, 10 remains the same, pi and 0 remains the same. So let's see. So when you can see the legs are appearing, the feet are appearing, and the body is there. Now we just need two eyes for the frog to be completed. So instead of writing, let's say, take this and say this is the feet. Yep, that's better. Okay, now after doing that, the next thing is the eyes. So for the eyes, what we are going to make is we are going to use the stroke of, I need to use the stroke of black so the eyes remains prominent, and the alpha also 100, so it's prominent enough. And then I'm going to make the ellipse first. So let's make the ellipse, and the ellipse should be at the positions of 185, 200, and because it should be appearing on the sides here, so 185, 200, and it should not be big, very big, so 10 and 10 is enough. And then copy the same thing for the next one, and we are going to just change the x of it and to 15 the position, and we are going to make it. And after doing that, we have done this. Now I need to give the fill of it also. So fill, in that fill we like to give 255, 255 the color white I need to give, and its alpha needs to be less, so 20. So after doing that, you can see that there are two pair of eyes appearing on the sides, and I need to make the inside of the eyes. So let's copy this, and I will just reduce the size of them. So let's do that, and their fill also needs to be changed. So fill 0, and then we are going to this first one and then this second one also. Okay, now let's reduce the size of it. So let's say the size of it is 4 by 4. So it's not too big, not too small. Okay, so now we can see the two eyes are appearing. If we want, we can use the map and we can map it so eye seems to be like moving, or we just want our mouth to appear after that. That's also we can do. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce some maps, and I'm going to use the eyes to be moving. So let's do that. So for that, let e1 x is equals to map, and the map is maps x. 0 position it will start, goes to width, and the new position it needs to be is 184, which is one less than this and one more than this, so 186. In the same way, I'm going to make the second eye one also. So paste it right to here, and then same things, just 215. Instead of 215, I'm going to write 214, and here 216. Now the Y position also we like to make, so we are going to say EY Y is equals to map, and the map will take the mouse Y, and 0 position it starts and goes with all the way to the height, and then it's 198 and 202. So this is done. So now let's replace these values with, so first one is e1x and the second one is e2x, and the y values are, which we need to make, is ey and ey, because they have the same y's. So right, so this is done, and now when we move, the eyes should be able to move. As you can see, they are moving. They are moving, and you can see that. Okay, so let's introduce now the mouth part of it. For the mouth also, we like to have a little bit of uh, mapping in that, so let's have that. So mouth, and the mouth needs to have, let m is equals to map, and then it's controlled with the mouse x, and position 0, and then width, and then 30 and 2. So it starts with a big and it can reduce, and then we will use the fill for the arc. For fill, I'm going to use the red color. So just reduce the alpha of it, and then the arc. So the arc will be of let's say 200 and 220 position in the Y, and then we are using the map variable, and then we want it to be upwards, so it's a kind of a smiley ones. So 0 comma pi and then quad. So that makes the mouth of the frog. So now you can see the mouth moves, the eyes moves, and the frog you can see here. So our basic frog is can be found here. Now among the frog and the other things, let's make the weeds and the sky and the pond water. So let's move these down, the frog ones. Yeah, so now here I'm going to the start with the first thing, which is the uh, sky of it. So let's say sky at this moment we are going to say it's black, so fill, and we are going to say 0 0 and 0, and it's 100%, maybe 200% black in the alpha. And after that we are going to use the rect, and the rect will have let's say it's a start from 0 and 0, and it should go to 400 in the width and till 250. And after doing that, let's save it and see that we can see that there is a black background behind the frog, and we can see the frog here and the other things quite prominent in that. We can reduce this also, so let's say 100, not 200, so alpha is little bit less, and we can see the frog much more better this way. Yeah, okay. Now the next bit we have to do is make it 50. No, it becomes dark, so make it 80. Yeah, that seems to be a little better than the others. Okay, now after doing that, the next thing we have to make is the pond and pond water. So for that also we need the fill, and the fill which we are going to use is going to be, let's say 0 128 128, and keep it 30, and let's also reduce it to, I think so 40 is more than enough for this to be there. Okay, fill is done. Now again we are going to use the rect, and we know that this rect should start from 0 position and should start from 250 because the ending was 250, and 400 and 200, sorry, 400 and 200 should be this. Let's see that we are good to go in this or not. Yep, we are there and we are making it, so it's all fine. We don't need a stroke in this, so we can say no stroke to it. and we run it. The stroke is still appearing. Oh, the stroke should be in the sky also. So let's cut this out in the sky also. Put it in. No stroke. Yep. So now when I do that, there is no stroke, and I can see the frog and everything. Okay, so let's set to 251. Yeah, that's better. Okay, now the next bit we have to do is we have to, after the pond is done, the next bit is to make the weeds. So let's make the weeds, and for the weeds we are going to use the for loop for that. And let's say that um, let's say I is equals to, okay, I is equals to 10 and I is less than 150 and I plus is equals to 20, and then we are going to make the use the stroke weight, and I'm going to increase the stroke weight because for the weeds, the lines which I'm going to make for the stem of the weeds. Okay, and the stroke color also I need it to be sort of green, and that can be 40. Okay, now and then we need the line to be made, and the line is uh, starting from I at first, and it goes to at the position of 200, and I same repetition, and then it starts from 200 here and then it goes to 250 here. Okay, that's the first line we are going to make, and let's see whether it's there. Yeah, you can see the line over here, and you can see the frog as well. It gets highlighted and everything because the stroke weight is increased in this. So we have to give the stroke weight, make the stroke weight a bit less in the rest of it. So let's write this stroke weight as 1 again. Yeah, so now when we do that, the stroke weight is less now and it's different from the others. Right, now the next bit we have to do is okay, the next bit we have to do is we have to copy this again, and we have to make another pair of lines, and this pair of lines will have 255 added to it in on both sides, so it will start appearing on the other side also. So when you see here, now you can see the weeds as well over here. Okay, after doing these things, now the next part of it is that we make the upper parts of the weeds also. So for that I need another color, and that will be the fill of it, and the fill needs to be of the color 128 and 0 and 0, and let's say 40 to it, and Then we have the ellipse. Ellipse position will be the same as the previous ones, just the height we are going to change. So 189 and 10 in the width and 30 in the height. Doing that, let's copy, make another one for the other side also, and let's add the same 255 to the both sides, for the both side, for this one, for the ellipse. We don't need both side because it's not a line. Okay, so if you can see, there are beads, and you can see it over here, it's appearing. Now let's make a moon here on this side. So let's do that. Okay, so let's make the moon. For the moon, we need to place it over here, and we have to give it a color of somewhat yellow. So let's do that. So fill, and the fill needs to be, let's say, 255, 255, 0, and say it's a 40. And then the ellipse position needs to be 350, and then at 100 in the y, and 60 and 60. Yep. So after doing that, oh yes, we need the stroke also for that. So the stroke of the moon will also be just like this one. So do that. Just reduce this alpha of it a bit, because it makes it more prominent. As you can see, it's the most prominent thing in this. So let's reduce the alpha of it. Still is very prominent than the others, so let's do that to more 10. Now it's prominent but less prominent. Let's reduce this also, this yellow also. So yeah, it's better now. The moon is there, but when you see, it's highlighted when you like that. Other things are more prominent, they are shown. And I think I should change the color of the stroke of this also. So let's take the stroke of this here and change the stroke color of the weeds this also. So 128, and this becomes 0 and 0. This becomes that. Let's see, now they are better, like that, visible, all there, you can see. But when we see like this, it's more prominent. So if you want, we can increase this alpha of this one also, and in the light the frog becomes more prominent as well. So 3, now it's too prominent and it's not looking like the way we wanted, so 2 was fine, I think. Yes, it's more than enough, and it's, you can see the movement and the eyes and the mouth as well. Okay, so that much is for the background and other things. Now the next thing we need to do is we need to introduce the sound to it. So for the sound, we need the function preload, and we need to get the sound also from the free sounds website. So let's do that. Okay, for the now let's start with first thing, function preload, and then after making the function preload, we are going to load the sound in it. Now before the function preload, we need two variables. One is for the canvas, because we want our canvas to be reactive, and the second is for getting the sound from it. So we are going to say croak and croak s sound, and then after doing this we are going to say that, let's take this so we don't make a mistake. So croak sound is equals to load sound, and load sound will take the sound which you are going to load in this. So I already have that, and you can get it from this website. You have to go to the free sound website, and then it will open and you can log in through it, and then you can get the sound of the croak from it. So I already have it with me, so I'm just going to upload this. So upload the file, I'm going to get it from there, and for my various files I'm going to get the croak file. So yeah, there it is, frog mp3. So I'm going to use it, and it's a small file, it's got uploaded, and now close this, and frog mp3 is there. So I'm going to just write frog mp3 here the same way, frog.mp3. Okay, the sound is there now. Now the canvas bit. So what we are going to do, we are going to say the canvas is now controlled by this variable, and this variable canvas, whenever the mouse is pressed, it will call a function. So let's make that function. So the function, let's call it croak, and in this function we are going to call the sound of this. So we are going to call croak sound, and we are going to say croak sound dot play, and then we are going to use this croak function. We just copy this and put it inside this croak, and whenever we press the canvas it should make a croaking sound. So I think you can hear it. So whenever I'm clicking on the uh, canvas, I'm able to hear the sounds. So you can hear the sound of the frog over there, and this is how you will make your whole project with the frog and all the things. So hope you like this project, and we will see you next time. Bye.